Mill Creek. This is your favorite teacher, Mr. H, with a quick lesson on how to write emails. You are the first class to have their own professional dexterschools.org email, and with that comes a very important responsibility. Some of you may have had emails in the past, others this might be your first email, and there's some general rules you want to follow when using a professional email address. So today I'm going to walk you through some steps and give you some heads up. For starters, when you go to compose your new message, it's important to pay attention to, of course, who you're sending it to. Make sure it's who you intend to. Google does a really nice job of remembering other contacts' names, and if you're not careful, sometimes you can send emails to the wrong people. So you want to make sure that you're just getting to who you want. So in my sample, I will send mine to Mr. Holscher, which is holscherc at dexterschools.org. So I'm sending this to myself. Next important thing is your subject line. This is not a text message, and a lot of kids miss that kind of idea with email, and they end up just putting their entire inquiry inside the subject line. That's kind of annoying for people who get lots of emails. So what you want to do is have a concise and clear subject line. So for example, you might say, looking for help with question 12. Oops, spelled question wrong. That would be a good subject line. Your teacher knows it's question 12. Better yet, you may even want to mention the homework assignment. So say looking for help with question 12 on, let's say, page 14. Okay. If your subject isn't that clear or you're not quite sure yet what you want to say, at least be more precise than just help or just English. I say maybe I was wondering about comma rules. That's even a little better so your teacher knows kind of what you're asking about. And the reason you want to be precise and concise in your subject line is so that your recipient can organize them, because a lot of people get tons of emails and they want to be able to kind of organize them so they can get to them at appropriate times. So if you have a really kind of confusing subject line, or you have the dreaded no subject line, those can get kind of dismissed and put aside. So you want to be precise and concise. So here's my example for today. My final example will be looking for help with email writing. First thing you want to make sure you start off with is a proper direct address. So you want to make sure we know who you're addressing. A good way to start is hello, Mr. Holscher. Okay, if it was coming to me, followed by your comma. You can also use a colon mark if you want. It doesn't really matter. Essentially, an email is a friendly letter without indented paragraphs. So starting with hello, Mr. Holscher is perfect. It's not too informal and it's not super formal. It's a good kind of balance. To be honest, if it's your teacher that you know well, hey, maybe I should spell correctly, hey, Miss Jastrin would work. But you never want to just skip the direct address, or you never just want to say hey, or let's say sup. You want to start off with something at least somewhat formal. If you were, say, going to email the principal, you might want to start off with Dear Miss Bronson. Adding the dear in makes it a little bit more formal and shows a little bit more respect. So think about who you're sending it to and how you want to address them, but please make sure that you begin with a direct address. So we'll go back to hello, Mr. H. See, even let you be a little informal there. Next thing you want to do is you want to skip two spaces, and you'll start your body paragraphs. Email writing body paragraphs, you do not need to indent. Just make sure that what you're asking is very clear. So you might say, I have been having trouble writing emails. No one is responding to them. I was wondering if you could help me. This sets the stage, lets your recipient know what your main concern is. Any concerns you have after, or anything you need to detail after, would become its own paragraph. Skip one space for that. Again, we don't need to indent with emails. You might add, I can come in early any day, starting at 7:30. I was wondering if you are available to help. Again, that gives you your availability. It makes your kind of what your plan is even more known. It's a very specific email to what your needs and concerns are. Notice my paragraphs can be very short. Often in emails, you want your paragraphs to be short. Whoever told you that they have to be 5 sentences probably didn't really know what a good paragraph was. Especially in email writing, they can be short so that they're easy to follow and it's easily organized for you. So just 2 quick paragraphs sounds great. Now we go to end. Skip 2 spaces again. I like to add thank you for your time as a closing. You can also just say thanks and then follow with your name. So I would be sample student. Some people even might say sincerely. That's fine too. Just make sure you follow with a comma and your name. Now, when you get into your Google email features, you can have a common closing that always follows you around. It's kind of like a part of your email and it'll always appear there. Right now, you probably don't have those, so you're going to definitely want to have a proper closing. So the biggest idea is when you're writing emails to people in a professional setting is make sure that you're sending it to the right person. Make sure that your subject line is clear and concise, not too long, but also not confusing, that you properly address them and show respect, that you have clear paragraphs that detail what your concern is and how you would like to proceed or how you would like to receive help, and then finally have a proper closing as well. That way you're showing your respect for that person taking their time to help you out. Now your assignment is to write me a proper email in a professional setting like you are that has 2 paragraphs detailing things that you just learned today in this email writing video. We'll be grading these for mastery, so make sure you send them my way.